some pull requests, and then maybe Guillermo joins later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's have a look at the menu then.
Wait, something is probably served by you.
Always.
Always. Only the finest meals.
Only the what?
Only the finest meals.
Some seriously good stuff. No, I tried to blindly fix that Windows thing that we talked about.
Yeah. I will definitely check that later.
But I really don't have a way to check it. My laptop doesn't have Windows, and that's it.
But I think that looks okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna break on Linux, so it's I don't know.
That's at least something. Yeah. But I will definitely try that later, and then let's see. Okay. So what else?
We have this fix that someone made on one of the Python scripts.
The polar sweep.
Yeah.
That's also from Guillermo. And I think
Okay.
Guillermo's already here. Yeah. But there was another bug in this polar script, actually. But I cannot remember what it was. I think it has something with the line, with the file endings, for the restart files. Because now in the config file you can just omit the .dat for the restart, and in the polar script it's hard coded to the .dat.
And does it break? And it doesn't break if you still have the.
No, so in the config file you don't have to write the .dat, the file ending, right? For the restart file.
Oh, but the script will.
The script will just take it from the config file without adding this file ending, and then it cannot find the file, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I can add that there. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, but other than that, I think it looks okay.
Yeah, I don't know those scripts, but it looked like a straightforward thing. It was just a block of code out of place.
Yeah, then I will add this change later, and then we can merge that in. Yeah, and then we have some other changes here. An update to the adaptive CFL.
Update what?
This update for the adaptive CFL.
But that's still work in progress, right?
I don't know, is it? There's no flag.
Yeah, but they were still discussing what they wanted to do.
Oh, okay. Then I guess we leave it there for the moment.
Well, I mean, all the test cases would need to be updated, so yeah.
But are these that many?
Let's see. Parallel regression.
I mean, does it also change the residuals for cases where it's not using the adaptive serial?
I hope not.
Okay, yes, just a few cases, I would say.
Yeah, you're right. It's not that many, but it changes. It changes for the 4AD as well, which is funny.
Yeah, that is really strange, actually.
But just one case.
Well, if the primer changes a little bit, that might be the reason. I mean, it depends on whether it computes like a primer before or not. And this one does not, actually. Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, and the derivatives change a lot.
Yeah, there's just 0.
Yeah.
I would say that's a lot, yeah. But how can that happen? What are the changes, actually? So very few changes, actually. Okay, this is strange.
Yeah, I guess that will require further investigation.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, it's probably something very easy to catch, I guess.
Akshay was here and is not anymore.
What do you mean?
Akshay,
yes. Yeah.
I just got an email like he updated his pull request, so I guess it's ready. Maybe the roughness one.
Yeah. That'd be good. Would have been good. He would be here. Okay, strange. Yeah, okay. Then I also have to look at that. Yeah. Okay, very good.
And what else? Katarina was saying that the Nemo is kind of ready as well.
Okay. These are also good news, yeah. But you still have some changes requested.
Yeah, some small things.
Okay.
But I think she did like pretty much everything in one day.
Okay, that's also very good.
So I'll probably approve that, but if one of you guys, you or Tom, could have a look as well.
Yeah. Okay, there's still some tabs. Yeah, Code Factor is complaining. It's just found some tabs there. I'm just going through the changes of this Nemo branch pretty quickly. At least it's good to know that it still works, the Code Factor add-on.
It works, but sometimes it's annoying because it complains about things that it fails, but it doesn't tell you why it fails. It it tells you like complex code line 0.
But this should be. I thought that I disabled the complex code thing.
I've gotten that a few times, but then you keep pushing changes, and eventually it doesn't complain anymore. I don't know.
It's not that complex anymore.
I don't think that's the
Maybe
reason.
You should think about that.
No, I don't think it's because of that. I don't know. It's just you keep pushing changes, and eventually. I guess they have bugs too.
Yeah, every software has bugs, right? So.
Well, actually, not all software. I think NASA has some records for alpha million lines of code without bugs.
Okay, but probably they have this special programming approach with two people sitting in front of the computer and looking at the code.
Yeah, I think on average each line of code costs $2,000.
Yeah.
How do they know it's bug free?
Hey Tom.
Hey guys.
I don't know. I just heard this in on a talk. They on average, like normal code on average has 15 to 50 bugs per 1,000 lines of code. And NASA has the record with alpha million lines without bugs. What that means without bugs, it's hard to say, but
yeah, that's also what I wanted to say, right? I mean, what do you count as a bug?
Yeah, and then my next guess was going to be that it was auto-generated code, although that could also have bugs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if the generator has a bug, absolutely.
Okay, very good. Okay, my browser's just freezing. What is going on now? Okay. Someone joined. Akshay is back. Akshay, can you hear us?
Hello. Yeah. I was having some audio problems, so I kept refreshing something. Sorry.
You have relatively low volume. It's hard to understand.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening because I kept having audio problems. Like I couldn't hear any of you, so I.
Okay, but now it's a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I think I can hear you as well. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So we were just talking about your PR, the roughness one.
Mm-hmm.
What's the status there?
I was actually just pushed some commits to that, and I see that it failed because of some external thing. But in general, I was just trying to add some test cases. And yeah, I was just hoping to see if there were any more reviews. I think Pedro approved it, and I don't know if it was. I thought there should be 2 reviews, so I was waiting if someone else also makes an approval or has comments.
Okay. So from your side, it's ready, apart from that it fails and that you wanted to add like a test case.
Yeah, I just added a test case, and now with the
It's because you inadvertently reverted the version of Kodi and Medipack.
I see.
So those things were updated, and maybe when you did the merge with develop, you kept those externals in the previous version.
Yeah, that happens quite fast. Sometimes with the merge, JIT is doing some strange things with the submodules.
Can I just check out the develop or something?
I think you need to revert that change manually. So I think you can you can just check out the correct version of Kodi and Medi and commit again.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is you can just look at there's this dot submodule .jit modules file or something like that.
Okay.
And you just compare that with the develop.
Okay, I will do that after the meeting. But from my side, it's ready.
Okay. Would be good to have like a couple of sentences maybe in some documentation on how to use that.
Can I just like edit the original text in the PR introduction?
What introduction do you mean?
Like when I opened the PR, like I had some the original text. You mean there, or like do you mean like a tutorial set?
Yeah, I don't know where the best place would be for that. I mean, we don't have like a section for turbulence models and options yet, I think. So let's see. And when you already have some test cases and stuff like that, maybe you can just add like a tutorial.
Yeah,
I mean,
I have plenty of test cases. It's not a problem. I can.
like structures a little bit more like the other tutorials, we can just add it to the tutorial section. I think that looks quite good actually.
Yeah, I can do this. I used the same meshes anyway, so I can just make this one.
Yeah. I think that would be good.
Like, can I just reuse the mesh? So, do I have to add the mesh file again, or like?
Yes. So all the files are in this tutorial repository. So they are in a separate location.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. Yeah, first I'll fix this one, and then I'll add the test cases.
Yeah, I mean we can merge it, and then you can add the tutorial. It's no problem.
Yeah, it's different. It's different repositories anyway. So
yeah. Okay, very cool. Okay, then I think that's it for the PR, or is there anything else, Pedro?
So I had a question on my own.
Yeah.
On with the vectorized numerics, I noticed that whoa, I'm echoing. I noticed that I can delete the current version of the numerics for central schemes.
Okay.
Because the central schemes are never used for boundary terms.
Yeah, that's
that's right.
And so those ones I could replace entirely, if you guys agree. There's no downside on robustness or whatever. The implementation is exactly the same.
I would be fine with that. I think.
Yeah.
From a maintenance perspective, I think it's better.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I added a new scheme as well, and that way I don't have to implement it in two sides.
Yeah, but this is the problem that we would get then in the end, right? If people add new schemes, then they probably only add it in one of the two.
Oh, and that's fine.
Yeah, But then we have all these special cases, right? Oh, this is not working with that option. This is not working with that option, and it's like,
Don't we have those special cases already?
yeah, of course, but but it doesn't mean that we need more of these cases.
Yeah, I know, but
so it's good that we can remove or not add like a further case.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I think Guillermo had some questions on MPI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hello to everybody. Well, basically what I want to do is compute the gradient of a new variable using green Gauss. So briefly what I'm doing is I declared a new variable, which is a matrix type. Number of rows is equal to number of points on the domain, and number of columns is equal to, let's say, 3. So what I want to do is compute, as I said, the gradient using green Gauss, and I want to use MPI. So to do it so, I'm not sure about the second and third input parameters to the green Gauss function call. So as Pedro indicated me, I think I have to modify this communication of MPI, but I'm not sure about how to do it. So any help would be really appreciated.
I have a question. So are you adding it
Yeah.
to when you do the gradient calculation, are you putting it in with the rest of our primitives or conservative variables and just using the normal gradient methods that are there before, or have you done something separate? Does that make sense? Like if you added
I'm not sure I understood it.
It's a completely different variable and not an extension of the current primitives.
It's a new variable. It's independent from the primitive and independent from the solution.
So you're calling then the compute gradients a separate another time, an extra time.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say if it's already in the other containers, then it would be a really quick thing just to extend the loop, or actually it might happen automatically.
Okay.
But so if that's the case, then you'll need to create a special instance for that particular thing you've created. So inside of have you seen the MPI routines? So there are a couple defined in the different classes in the base classes. Have you found the communication?
Routines. For instance, in C solver, there is something called initial comms. It's okay.
Initiate and complete. So there's a pre-process, initiate, and complete. The idea was always to break it up and overlap communication with computation, but we haven't done that yet. But that's not important. So what you'll need to do is inside of there. I'm not the most happy with it, but there are switch statements that check what quantities you're communicating. So you're basically going to need to write a custom switch. Oh, I see. We've got your... Thanks. I was just looking for it here. So you'll want to define
yours?
No, that's perfect. You've already got it. There's no point to. So you'll want to create one of these different types here. So you'll want to create a new communication type. There's an MPI. There's an enumerated type for this. So you can create a custom one for the quantity you've created. You'll need to come in. Yeah, Pedro's pointing to it. You'll need to come in. You'll need to say then how big the count is and the variable type name. And then down below, you'll actually do the loading and unpacking. So the idea is you don't need to worry about any of the actual MPI calls. You just need to, at the top there where Pedro was pointing, add this enumerated type to say the size, and then pick any of these to look at. Just you'll come in here for your gradient method. You'll have a new enumerated type, and you'll do the loading into a buffer here. This buff descend is already defined for you of the right size. and just load it up. And then on the other end, this is on the front end, and then on the back end, when you do complete comms, you'll take the data out of the buffer and you'll put it back into place. Yeah, perfect. So it's basically the inverse. So you'll have defined something new for your gradient. You'll do a packing in the initiate, and then in the complete, you'll do an unpacking. And if you just do some pattern matching there on, pick one of these, like the solution, or actually you could pick one of the gradient ones down below, because that's, I guess, more like the structure you have. And just mimic that.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the MPI stuff will be taken care of for you. So you're basically just loading up a large 1D buffer of the data, and then MPI calls will happen. So we use non-blocking send and receives. So once you load it up, we initiate all the communications for you, complete them, and then the unpacking will be called.
Okay, but checking for example, in CSolver initiate comms, the counterpoint. I understand the case for solution and solution limiter and these things, but for example, for solution gradient, or let's say primitive gradient, I think it's line 1917.
1917?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. That's the solution.
Okay, so we have. Okay, so it's
we might have different versions.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, what I want to clarify is that, for example, for case primitive gradient.
Yeah.
The counterpoint is number of primitive variables times the dimension, and then times 2.
Yeah.
Why there is a times 2 there?
Because it's the gradient. It's the normal gradient and the reconstruction gradient.
Okay.
Yeah, we're cheating a little bit there. We're sending both at the same time. That's why there's 2x.
Yep, thank you all.
Yep, thanks.
And so what you probably want to do is you need to communicate your variable. Your variable needs to be communicated before you compute the gradients, and the gradients need to be and the gradients will then be communicated after.
Okay.
Because if you don't communicate your variable before you compute the gradients will not be correct.
So what is the variable that is this the conservative variable of like a scalar equation, or what are you computing a gradient of? I'm just curious.
One second. No, it's a scalar variable, and it's I introduced it into the equations manually. And somehow it's manual. It's not introduced manually, but let's say as it is introduced in that way.
Is it the result of a transport equation, or is it just a byproduct of quantities from a transport equation? Like, is it one of the degrees of freedom, or is it just like an auxiliary that gets computed?
So basically what I do is I initiate this variable to 0, and then externally I compute the values of this variable, and then from a Python script, from SU2, I read the file with the values of this variable, and then introduce it into the equations.
I see. So is it constant during the runtime then? It's just an external, it's like a source?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then you only need to do this once. You can just load up the variable, take the gradient, and just store it, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you could do that as a pre-processing. But yeah, Pedro's right. So make sure you also communicate the variable itself, or at least set it in the Halo cells before you compute the gradient and communicate it. Otherwise, you'll have some funny stuff in the Halo cell. Well, the nodes near the halos will be a little bit incorrect.
Okay. So
if you're just reading it from a file, you can just load it directly to the Halo cells. I think should be okay.
I'm not sure about this. What you're saying? This Halo. What is?
Right. Okay. So maybe just a word. The MPI part of the code. Basically, what we're doing is like a coarse grain partitioning. So each rank should get a chunk of the mesh, but in order to keep the a consistent view of the domain, we leave an overlap of the Halo cells. We leave a one layer Halo cell layer, meaning we completely duplicate all of the geometric details of one layer of primal cells, essentially, between the two domains. And so all I mean by Halo cells are those overlaps. And so whenever we do the MPI communication, what we're doing is exchanging the data between the two partitions in the overlaps, so that each partition can operate just like it would in serial. It just completes its loop over the points it owns and computes all the fluxes and everything as it normally would. So all I'm getting at is, and what Pedro was trying to say, I think as well, is just make sure you communicate both the value, or at least define the value in the Halo cells, as well as compute the gradient and then communicate that. So maybe you've noticed in the loops in the code, sometimes we run to endpoint domain or endpoint. There's a subtle difference there. Anything after endpoint domain are the list of Halo nodes. Yeah, I think Pedro's pulling up that picture. So we define that overlap. There are Halo nodes in the Halo cells. So whenever we're running in parallel, we create that overlap structure, and you want to populate the data there. And that's what we're doing with MPI. But when you read in your variable, I guess you're doing it from a file, just make sure in those Halo cells as well, you're setting the initial value, or you communicate the initial value. So just like you create a communication routine for the gradient, you could create one for the value of the variable itself.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I mean, we've tried to hide as much of that stuff as possible, but yeah, there's still parts that could be improved. But if it's still not clear, just speak up. Just ask us again. I know it's a little, that part of the code is a little complicated at first if you're just getting started.
Okay, thank you very much.
Actually, how are you getting the data into the code? Are you just reading like an ASCII file, or?
Yes.
Okay. Did you write a custom thing, or are you taking advantage of maybe something else that was already in the code? I think we have a couple of readers for files that you could maybe take advantage of.
No, it's a basic grid. Let me check exactly what is computed.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is we used to have this external sensitivity is something I was using for a little while, which just lets you read in a field from like a simple ASCII file. There might be stuff you could reuse from that. You could try to generalize it if you're just going to do a simple ASCII.
So what I did is I took the structure from reading the restart file from the ASCII restart file from SU2, the basic one, and I modified it to read my file. So yeah, basically the structure is the same. So I'm not using this write or read file or this basic functions. Is that your question?
Yeah, so you took what's there for the restart, the ASCII restart, and and sort of made a duplicate routine that reads in just your file, or are you adding the variable to a restart file?
Sorry, go again.
So I think it's the first one then.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know.
So
the last one.
You're not creating an actual restart file with the full solution plus your extra variable, are you?
No.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, my mind's just thinking of efficient ways you could load up that data, but I think I would just get it working first, and then let's take a look at what you need, and maybe there's something we can reuse. That's all. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Now I'm just really curious. So what is this variable you're using, and what are you doing with it? As a part of a turbulence model or a transition model, or?
The main goal is to implement a field inversion, which is modify the runs or turbulence equations with this additional variable.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, interested to see what you're doing whenever the time is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other topics? Otherwise, we're ready for today. There's nothing else.
How are we doing for 7.1?
Same status last week. No updates yet.
I'm joking. I don't mind. I don't mind going to 7.10, 0.10.
Yeah, I want to avoid that, but yeah, but we can merge these couple of pull requests that are almost ready now, and then we have a new release. Yeah, maybe I would estimate on Monday after the weekend.
After the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this vectorization stuff is kind of ready. If anyone wants to have a look.
Yeah. Okay.
Apart from removing the normal schemes that can be removed, it's.
Yeah. But just go ahead.
I'm trying not to touch it more.
Got it.
Yeah, maybe we should advertise that at some point a little bit more, I guess, because apparently gives some good performance.
Yeah, I need to update the documentation section on building the code and have like a kind of expert mode with all the bells and whistles you need to turn on to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but it's not changing anything, right? If you don't need that at the moment, it just stays the same.
Yeah, everything works the same.
Yeah, okay. Well, we have to do an update of the documentation anyway, at some point, I think, because like a lot of things have changed.
Yeah, even the output changed, right, Tim? We got an email from, actually, that was kind of interesting. We got an email from the folks at TechPlot asking what version of CGNS we use, because one of the users was, one of the SU2 users has been trying to visualize CGNS files in TechPlot. And we were kind of confused because we're not even writing CGNS files in the latest version of the code, but I think they've put in something to to write CGNS files. Is that how you understood that, Tim?
Yeah. This is all.
We were like, I don't know. We don't know. We don't even write CGNS files.
But it's strange that they were asking in TechPlot why that is not working. I was a little bit confused.
Yeah, well, I think there were some issues when people moved to the latest versions of CGNS. I think there was at least one problem with the like 3.4 or 3.41, and then anyway, that's not the point. I was just saying
they added this export to SU2, exporting to CGNS.
Yeah, somebody reactivated CGNS after all this time. I don't know if I hope they plugged it in with the new output structure that's there, but we could ask. Maybe it's something they'd be willing to contribute.
Yeah, that would be very useful, I think.
Yeah, because right now, if you want to do an optimization on something large, you need to take some CGNS, convert it to SU2 format so that it works with SU2 Dev properly, right?
Yeah, or in the end, your first step, it'll just dump an SU2 file anyway, and then you're stuck. So you're stuck with that.
Oh, but there's the FFD boxes, right? Those will not.
And that's the other. Yeah, that's the other thing. That would be pretty easy to separate. We could just put that in a separate small file. It doesn't really, need to be in the mesh file, but.
Yeah, if someone wants to do that, I mean, that should be very easy, actually.
Yeah, it's really just like appended onto the mesh file, it could just be its own file. There's no tight coupling there. But then we would also, we would need to be able to write out CGNS mesh files. We did have the CGNS output at one point, so we could go back and take those old routines and update it, but it would take a little bit of work.
Yeah. I mean, this is also why we don't have like a binary SU2 format yet, because we thought, okay, we can just rely on CGNS at some point completely.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, if those folks want to share that bit of code,
maybe we can ask.
Maybe we can take care of the rest.
Yeah, you know what? I'll ask. I'll respond to TechPlot right now, and I'll ask if they can ask them or contact us, because I think that would be interesting to at least hear what they did.
They were also in CC, right? I'm not.
Was that them? I wasn't sure if that. Let me look.
I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah, I didn't want to assume because they didn't really say, but.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll respond because I'm curious too. I think it would be great. We should try to encourage people whenever possible to contribute things. That's kind of the point. So.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hi, I can ask a question again.
Yeah, sure.
So I tried to merge from the develop the externals Kodi and the Medi packs.
Yeah.
I am able to check out, but whenever I try to commit, it says it's already up to date. Is there am I doing something wrong?
Yeah, because you need to revert it manually, because you committed that change after you merged with develop.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not gonna.
So I have to revert the merge with develop and then.
No. I'll try and fix it for you. Don't worry. It should just be checking out the right version of those submodules and then committing again or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can just do diff on develop and on this dot submodules file.
Yeah, I tried to do the.
But that doesn't give you the version thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I can see that it's linking to a different commit on.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, exactly. You should also do diff on the externals folder, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that it's linked to a different commit, but when I try to check it out, I think it's just not working for me.
I mean, the end should be pretty easy, but it's just that you have to do it in the right way, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on.
Want to help.
I might be able to do it very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I just do.
Then I would say that's it for today.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then
sounds good.
We'll see each other next, or hear from each other next week.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Later on.
See you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.